Peruvian loggers given 28 years in jail for murder of 4 indigenous leaders. Victims, among them environmental defender Edwin Chota, were tortured before their deaths in Peruvian Amazon in 2014.
Here's a summary of the article.
5 illegal loggers in Peru have been given 28-year jail sentences for the murder of 4 indigenous leaders, among them the prominent anti-logging campaigner Edwin Chota, in a rare win for environmental justice. Nearly 8 years after the 2014 quadruple murder, a court in Pucallpa in the Peruvian Amazon found the loggers, Eurico Mapes Gomez and the brothers Segundo and Josimar Atachi Felix, guilty of aggravated homicide against the leaders, and sentenced them on Thursday to 28 years and 3 months in prison. The court imposed the same sentence against Hugo Soria Flores and José Estrada Huayta, the timber businessman convicted of planning the murder, one of the most notorious crimes against environmental defenders in Peru's recent history. Chota, the leader of Alto Tame Saveto, an Ashaninka community in Peru's Amazon Ucayali region, fought for his people's right to gain titles to their land and expel illegal loggers who raided their forests on the Brazilian border. The long-awaited verdict serves as a tragic reminder of the dangers faced by environmental defenders and the need for greater protection of their rights, said Shruti Suresh, Land Environment Defenders Campaign leader at Global Witness. We welcome the news of the conviction of those responsible for the killings of indigenous land and environmental leaders in Peru in this horrific case, which shows the importance of continuing to fight for justice many years on, Suresh added. During the COVID pandemic, the number of attacks on environmental defenders and indigenous leaders increased, particularly in 2021, when 78% of recorded killings of defenders took place in the Amazon regions of Brazil, Peru and Venezuela.
This post received a score of 7,000, with an upvote ratio of 98%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
If you are interested in learning more about the environmental issues Edwin Chota was fighting for, visit www.absatrichmond.com.
Greater than the court imposed the same sentence against Hugo Soria Flores and Jos. Estrada Huayta, the timber businessman convicted of planning the murder. It's nice to see the bosses getting the same sentence as the trigger men for a change. America could never.
They were also very swift with punishments after their version of January 6.
Make them plant trees for 28 years in the victim's memory.
That's so disgusting. It takes a special kind of evil to torture and kill. Were they in prison whilst awaiting trial or free to continue committing atrocities?
And there are pieces of dogshit that believe that those loggers are the victims.
28 years for torturing and murdering 4 people? They should have got life.
Actual justice would be setting up task forces to hunt down and kill these loggers just like they do with poachers.
Death squads, that's what teams who hunt and kill humans are never actual justice, and Latin America has had quite enough of those in the past. And every single one of them thought they were enacting some kind of justice, arresting, trying and convicting these people, including the businessman behind it, in the clear light of day is actual justice working as it should.
Justice varies by place and has evolved over the years, typically to some majority consensus of the term. Most would agree harming others is bad and therefore stopping such perpetrators is good, and therefore some form of justice can be applied to this basis. I'd have to argue that imposing a judicial system as the only means of justice is wrong, considering you're putting more people at risk only to facilitate a no-harm approach. So where is the justice when there are more victims as a result of that process? Particularly where the context is very much in line with a kill or be killed scenario here with such criminal activity. You should not mix sympathy with justice.
Human beings are just evil.
Yeah. That's where the concept of evil comes from.
The depravity to commit such acts is mind-boggling. At what point was this behavior normalized for these people? How does evil propagate? Why do horrors such as this continue to happen, despite the vast majority of people being horrified by the mere occurrence? Rhetorical questions. My thoughts are that poverty needs to be addressed. There is nary a better motivator than hunger.
After a long life of wondering how violence becomes so prevalent in humans, I've concluded that violence is a natural human proclivity, and, after millennia of consciousness raising, we are slowly coming to the realization that life would be better if we could eliminate violence. I'm no longer shocked at the amount of brutality we visit upon each other, but amazed at the pockets of peace we manage to establish.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.